This is Mia Hernandez with NewsChannel 7 at the WJHG-7 Plus Digital News Desk. And on 850 Unsolved, we're talking about the 1984 murder of Booker T. Lewis. Last week, we went over some of the facts and theories of this case, so to hear more about the previous episode, you can check that out on WJHG.com. But today we're discussing how to provide something like closure to this case.
It would be nice to get some closure. I hate that word. Just to find out who. I say I hate that word because it's an open wound. You know that's. I don't know if it will close, but at least it will put some balm on it. If we know, okay, this is what happened. This person did it, and they did it. Even if it's like we think they did it because of what was whatever, just something. You know, I would not want to leave this earth not knowing what happened to my uncle.
Here's what Mike Jones has to say about this case one day getting to see its day in court.
It's never too late on a homicide case. I don't think there's a statute of limitations at all on a homicide case. That's why it's hard for me to tell y'all who it was and who the suspect was, because Captain Shaw with the police department there in Panama City, he's probably going to do some work on that case maybe one day if he can get the right evidence and prosecute.
The case is still open, just cold. With the right information, the case can still be taken to court.
A confession would be nice from the suspect. Recovering the weapon, be able to compare ballistics. Back then, I don't think we had DNA evidence yet. It was coming, but I don't think it was there. But I'm certain that there was blood all over the place, that maybe there's some DNA today that we could compare it to. But I think a confession or an eyewitness, an accomplice as an eyewitness, the weapon certainly would help. Those would be my main ingredients. We've got everything else. We've got witnesses that can put him in the area within about a half a block of where the homicide happened, armed with a gun, trying to rob people for drugs. So if we had a confession, an accomplice, or an eyewitness, or a weapon, I'm sure that would weigh the scales heavy, that they could go ahead and prosecute that case.
An accomplice, a weapon, DNA to compare. This is what it could potentially take for justice to be brought to this case. We reached out to the state attorney's office and asked why the original case was dismissed as circumstantial, and what would the state attorney need to see now to allow for this case to be seen in front of a jury. The state attorney's office declined to comment due to the case still being an active investigation. But maybe you know something. Maybe you saw something. Here's why you should come forward now. Booker T. Lewis impacted the community. He was a teacher, an uncle, and a father.
Mr. Lewis was, the reason I took interest in the case was because Mr. Lewis was he was a teacher at one time. I don't know if you knew that or not. And a bail bondsman, an entrepreneur, very popular in the community, very well known in that community, and helped a lot of people in that community. And to take someone's life of his caliber was terrible, and it always just stuck with me. I always just wanted to solve that because of his stature and in the community, and he was just a good guy, and it always bothered me. It still bothers me to this day. I wished I could solve that case and arrest somebody, or at least put the family to rest that we know he did this person.
Someone else who took a look at this case was City Commissioner of Ward 2, Janice Lucas. At the time, she was a reporter for the Panama City News Herald and was there the morning of September 20th.
I got the assignment early that morning. Generally, as a newspaper reporter, our day started about 10, and so I don't remember exact time. Somewhere around 8 o'clock, I knew it was early in the morning. And when I got on the scene, I didn't go in to the crime scene, but was able to see Mr. Lewis laying there on the floor. It was quite shocking for our community. There was it was as though this happened in a vacuum. There were no witnesses, and as we know now, decades later, there's still so many questions. So someone who was respected, a prominent educator, someone who helped people in the community, a businessman, this was shocking.
Here's what she had to say about the case going on 40 years being unsolved.
It's been said in other cold cases that resolution comes, the crime was solved after so many years because people who may have been afraid to speak up when the crime happened didn't. And so I would encourage anyone who has any information, time has passed, please share whatever you know to help resolve this case, and so that we can bring closure to Mr. Lewis's death. I hope that we find who did it. I mean, to go this long with it unresolved, I know his daughter, Nellie, wants it resolved. Unfortunately, his wife died without resolution having occurred. So hopefully reopening or bringing attention back to this cold case will help us find who did it and bring it to closure.
And of course, there's Nellie and Mary Annie, who still want answers.
I pray before I die that it could be solved, and I wish it would have been before his wife passed, If you know something, please come forward. Just because it's been 40 years, we still want to know. It's not too late to help solve this murder. I mean, we still want to know. We need to know. And we will be appreciative, just like it was yesterday. And we will be glad. We have no hard feelings. It took so long.
Although our 3-part series on Booker T. Lewis is coming to a close, we don't want this case to continue to sit cold. We urge you, if you have any information regarding this case, you can contact the Panama City Police Department or the Panhandle Crime Stoppers. When we come back, we'll be looking into the disappearance of Rennie Jose, a Rice University student who went missing in Panama City Beach during spring break 10 years ago. Until next time, this is me, Hernandez, with 850 Unsolved. Thank you for tuning in, and stay safe.